How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good to see you again. Based off of your intake assessment from last week, when you came into the Career Development Center, we gathered that you were trying to seek some counseling for career development and possible career choices and/or avenues to pursue for academic, furthering your education, something of the sort.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've been struggling with lately.
Okay. Well, I have a few career techniques and different theories based on from different theories and instruments we can use to maybe get a better idea of what it is you would like to do as far as a career and/or school to choose or a program, something of that sort that we could try to use if you'd be interested in that.
I have the program figured out. It's more of now the ramifications of now that I chose a program at home.
Ramifications.
Yeah, what's happening. My parents aren't thrilled that I'm going back to school, and they're struggling with that decision.
Oh, so you already have your, I guess, career choice and/or schooling program
Yes.
decided what you'd like to do.
Master's in computer science.
Oh, interesting. Nice. But you said there's ramifications at home because of this?
Yes, my parents, they want me to stay home. They feel a bachelor's degree is enough, that I can stop there and come back and help them.
And how do you feel about that?
Not great. I'm looking forward to continuing my education, and I feel that a master's degree would really put me on the next level.
In that field, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely probably
And-
would.
Mhm.
And you said you're getting some resistance at home for
Yes.
this decision?
They're saying you need to stay at home with us. You need to help us with our store. They own a small grocery store, and we need you. You need to be here with us.
And so they would prefer that you didn't pursue any further education. That's
Correct.
what it sounds like.
Mhm.
And what is your dilemma with that?
I'm having trouble. I'm feeling a little guilty about it. Should I leave them and kind of let them struggle a little bit while I go and better myself and maybe come back? But I just don't know what is everyone's. I can't make everyone happy. Either I'm unhappy or they're unhappy, so I'm not sure.
So there's no middle ground there.
No.
And there's guilt from because you would be leaving home again for more schooling,
Mhm.
or what exactly would the guilt be from?
They had I'm an only child, so my job is to now take over the store. And my grandfather owned it, my dad owned it. Now I'm supposed to own it, get married, have kids, have husband, and he'll run it, and I'll be at home with the kids. So that's not what I want to do. So I'm feeling guilty of abandoning their dreams for me and doing my own.
So they're different from your dreams.
Mhm.
And you said you had mentioned that it's your job to kind of take over that role,
Mhm.
but that's not a job, so to speak, that you necessarily want. It sounds like.
Correct. Yeah.
I see. So they're having a little bit of a problem
Mhm.
with you kind of trying to choose a different path.
Mhm.
And is this, I guess, because you said you're an only child, so they don't have any other family members to maybe fulfill the role that they would like to have someone take over the store, so they're kind of putting on your shoulders.
Yeah. It's difficult. Some of our relatives are still in Mexico.
Mhm.
My grandma and grandfather are here, but they're too old to do the store, and my parents are getting the retirement age, so I'm the sole heir to the grocery store.
Grocery store, yeah. What kind of pressure do you feel because of that?
I feel a lot of pressure. They're saying you need to be here, you need to be with us. It's not you need to get more schooling. It's you need to be here. It's they don't see why it's a beneficial thing to do.
Kind of falling in their footsteps.
Mhm,
That would
correct,
be
yeah.
an immense amount of pressure,
Mhm.
having that weight put on you where they wanted you to take over. And also, as you mentioned, you kind of don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
So you would like to help them, but it's not necessarily what you want to do for a living.
And I'm feeling a lot of cultural pressure because it's family based. Our culture is extremely family based. You run the family business. As a family, you make these decisions together. When I was going to get my bachelor's degree at first, there was a little resistance, but they were proud of me to go that direction. But now my family is not supporting me, and from my culture, it's really difficult for that.
Yeah, from my understanding, as you mentioned with your culture, it's very collectivistic. So when the child comes up and makes decisions in their future to go to school or what career, it's usually very family-oriented decision-making process.
Definitely.
It's kind of usually what's in the best interest of the family. from what you're describing, it sounds like it's very similar. So I
Yeah.
can see the roadblocks you're running
Mhm.
into with trying to make an independent decision, so
Yeah.
to speak. Um, what other struggles have you been having with this decision?
Well, since I'm going into computer science, it's definitely not a role that's nailed down for women. Just from what I've seen so far in the statistics, it's dominated by men. So my parents don't understand why I would want to go to a man's field and continue my education, and whenever I could be at home, have a job, and be set.
Just take over their business as they wanted. You said just a field for just men. Tell me more about that idea of being it just for men, and where you get this idea.
Well, I did an orientation for my major. I went to the college, and there was 25 students, and 23 were men, and myself and a white woman were the two women.
So, based on the numbers you saw there,
Mm-hmm.
strictly you believe that it's just for men.
Yeah, that's the impression I'm getting for sure. I didn't see any other women, and it was very focused, talk of video games and things like that. But
Yeah.
coding's a great field to get into, so I'm not trying to see it as a man's field, but that's what my family's telling me for sure.
I think that's how society sees it as well.
Mhm.
Very male-oriented, as you mentioned,
Mhm.
weighted heavily with the male gender being the dominant presence in that field.
Mhm.
However, there's not necessarily anything to say that it is for men.
Mhm.
Is there anything that says you can't do it?
No, I guess not. Just the pressures I feel around me. My mom says if I'm in this field, how am I going to meet a man? Or no, are you ready?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Is it possible that you could see it in a different light or lens, that it's not necessarily just for men?
Yeah, that's definitely possible. It's difficult because they say let's call the IT guy. It is just kind of a stereotype that women aren't in the field, especially a Latina woman.
And how could you see yourself in that role as a student in that specific program?
I feel like I could contribute to it. I would probably be intimidated at first, building my confidence in the class. I think I could do it, but it would be really helpful to have my family's support, because that is something I've always had, and just the people around me, my neighborhood were always proud of me for getting a bachelor's, and now it's kind of like, wait, why is she still doing that?
Continuing her education. Yeah, you mentioned that a few times. With the support of the family, have you ever broached this subject with your family as to talking to them about this decision, wanting to continue your education?
And it's been a quick discussion.
Brief?
Yeah, very brief. It's kind of like, hey, I'm planning on doing this, and it's kind of like, why? And I will tell them, and they don't understand. That's the end of the conversation. And
So not as calm. How does the conversation usually go?
I usually kind of, because I want to, because it's something I want to do, and that usually probably tears and yelling. Just because I've tried to broach the subject so many times that it's just shut down every single time.
You get pretty passionate about it when you do speak of it. When you talk to them, what does some of the reactions? What kind of messages do you get from them and responses? Even though you said it's brief, what is said amongst you two?
Like, oh, Caitlin, when are you gonna have kids? And I don't answer just because it's like, I don't know. When are you gonna be able to do this? And you need to start a family. 2 years is too long to find a husband, then start a family and take over the business. We want it now, and we need you now.
And you had mentioned in the very beginning about trying to further your education, use this degree to still maybe be able to help the business. Have you ever brought that aspect of the conversation to them?
No, that's probably a very good idea to do so. It's just something like I'm almost feeling like I don't want to help them at this point, just because they haven't heard me out. But it's something they need to update their technologies, whether it's using their cash registers, inventory. It might be a little expensive, but they could definitely afford financially and for the business
That would
to
probably
upgrade.
streamline a lot of things, make it a lot easier, probably cost effective with ordering, shipments, things of that sort as well, I would imagine. So is there any conversation pieces that you've had with them that you think if you approached it from a different angle, so that they could maybe I guess maybe to give some more substance and validity to what you want to do and why, and how it could still be beneficial to them. How that could change the conversation, possibly.
You know, just hearing you say that, like, the light bulb kind of went off a little bit, like almost approaching it, not talking about school, like being like, hey, Dad, you know, that cash register is really out of date. Have you thought about getting the iPad with, you know, and then starting, well, that's what I want to get into, kind of leading with a problem and bringing a solution.
Yeah, yeah. It might take that negativity away from the conversation and at least bring it to a more neutral playing ground, so to speak, if not maybe in a positive direction. So you've had this conversation with them before, but not coming from with this spin on it.
Correct.
If maybe you're interested, we could maybe do a little exercise. Would be a rehearsal exercise in which you would practice having this conversation with them.
Okay.
And kind of, you can go through it with what you would say. Excuse me. What you would say, and if you would like to also respond.
Okay, ask my parents?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Have the conversation. That's okay. Have the conversation with your parents, but you'll be yourself. And
Okay.
also, if you'd like to respond as your parents, and maybe in hopes of just how you would like the conversation to go,
Okay.
or how you think it would go.
Well, I probably could start with asking if they need any new technology updates, and the answer is going to be yes because I've been in there a long time and I know, and I could tell them my suggestions and let them know like I can help you with that, but I'll be better to help you once I get this degree.
Well, go ahead and ask them.
Do you have any technology needs in the store that need updated? And they would say,
How do you think they would respond?
I think they would say yes. We're doing inventory by hand, so having a better counting system would be beneficial to the store and our time overall. And then I guess I could ask, well, how would you feel if I was able to bring a full renovation of the program in 2 years? And they don't want to wait, but I guess they could say if 2 years is what it would take to get it together, then we would be open to it.
Well, when you word it like that, it sounds, full renovation, as you mentioned there. It sounds appealing. I think maybe just kind of the focus on language and what you say and how you say when you're speaking to them. And as you mentioned before, you get pretty passionate. There's nothing wrong with having passion, but maybe just having more composure as well would help the situation when speaking to them, which is something you could try out
Definitely.
and see how that goes.